Daily inpatient census is the number of patients present at the census taking time each day, plus any inpatients who were both admitted after the previous census taking and discharged before the next census taking time. So this is a report compiled daily for the number of patients. That's why it's called census report. So the report will show the total number of patients, the number of admissions, the discharges, transfers, births, and deaths. And the last one is the birth and death report. Hospital personnel must assemble and record the medical and personal data to be entered on the birth certificate and fetal death report. Report to government authorities for registration within specified time. This we have to take note of this because naamo gid siya oras like uh, what time ang birth, what time ang death. So that's why it has to be accurate. Next slide, please. So how to write a good report? First, before anything can be written clearly, so it must be clear in one's own mind first. And then you should be factual. And then conciseness, accuracy, and completeness are essential to good reports. It is better to write several reports than one when there is more than one main subject upon which to report. And then you have to use terminology that are specific, short, and simple. So commonly used words for non-technical reports, and then you can use scientific terms when issuing reports to professional personnel. And then observe mechanics of good writing. Observe margins, spelling should be correct, avoid abbreviation except in clinical charting. So use correct pronoun, punctuation, be neat. And then write report in a conversational manner. You have to put, of course, the date of your report, and if ever the report is being typed by someone else, it's very important for you to check it before signing. Next slide, please. Now let's go to nursing service audit. Nursing audit refers to assessment of the quality of clinical nursing, according to Ellison. And according to Guster Wolfer, nursing audit is an exercise to find out whether good nursing practices are followed. The audit is a means by which nurses themselves can define standard from their point of view and describe the actual practice of nursing. So nursing audit is a review of the patient record designed to identify, examine, or verify the performance of certain specified aspects of nursing care by using established criteria. So it is the assessment of the quality of nursing care. So it uses a record as an aid in evaluating the quality of patient care. Audit compares the actual practice versus the standard of practice. That's why there is an audit. So the purpose of audit, it is used for evaluating nursing care given. If the plan of care, if it's achieved, if the quality is there, and also it stimulates better records, and then focuses on care provided and not on the care provider, and it contributes to research. Because if we can see that there is something, then maybe that problem can be, murag ikuan siya into research ba, same as what we had this morning on our topic with the um, ventilator related pneumonia. So if you have seen, some incidents on what happened, so that can be a subject for research. Next slide, please. So nursing audit committee, their roles and functions. So audit committee consists of members including senior nurses as the members of the nursing audit. And then the committee should be comprised of minimum of 5 members who are interested in quality assurance and are clinically competent and are able to work together in a group. So it is recommended that each member should review not more than 10 patients each month, and that the auditor should have the ability to carry out an audit in about 15 minutes. So if there are less than 50 discharge per month, so all the records may be audited. But if there are a large number of records to be audited, an auditor may select only 10% of the discharge. So the impetus must come from the nursing staff themselves, realizing the benefits to the patient and themselves. Next slide, please. So methods of nursing audit. We have retrospective and the concurrent. So with regards to retrospective review, this refers to an in-depth assessment of the quality after the patient has been discharged. So murag ni uli ng patient. And then have the patient chart to be the source of data. So retrospective audit is a method of evaluating the quality of nursing care by examining the nursing care as it is reflected in the patient care records for discharged patients. So in this type of audit, specific behaviors are described, then they are converted into questions, and the examiner looks for answers in the record. So, like for example, the examiner looks through the patient's records, and the examiner might ask, so what's the problem solving process used in planning nursing care? And then whether patient data collected in a systematic manner. So was a description of patient's pre-hospital routines included, laboratory test results used in planning of care. Did the nurse perform physical assessment? How was the information used? So were nursing diagnosis stated? So did nurse write nursing orders? And so on. The next one is, next slide please, is the concurrent review. So this refers to the evaluation conducted on behalf of patients who are still undergoing care. So kumbaga inpatient pa ang pasyente. It includes assessing the patient at the bedside in relation to predetermined criteria, interviewing the staff responsible for this care, and reviewing the patient's record and care plan. So method to develop the criteria, because it mentioned their bedside in relation to the predetermined criteria. So method in developing that criteria is, so you have to define patient population, identify a time framework for measuring outcomes of care, and then identify commonly recurring nursing problems presented by the defined patient population, and then state the patient outcome criteria, then state acceptable degree of goal achievement, and then specify the source of the information, and then design and the type of tool, which includes quality assurance must be a priority. Those responsible must implement a program, not only a tool. A coordinator should develop and evaluate quality assurance activities. Roles and responsibilities must be delivered. Nurses must be informed about the process and the results of the program, and then data must be reliable. Adequate orientation of data collection is essential, and the quality data should be analyzed and used by nursing personnel at all levels. That's all, Doc. The next one will be reported by Miss Sia. Any questions?
All right. Thank you for that. No, Rod. That was comprehensively discussed. So for your discussion, you may want to throw questions in our in-call messages so that others may be able to answer it. Okay.
Okay, Doc.
Sige. Who is the next presenter?
Miss Sia,
Me,
Doc.
Doc. Ako, Doc.
Okay. Sige. Miss Sia will be the next, and then followed by MJ Naive. Ed is not yet around.
Yes, Doc. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to report about peer review. So, peer review, how workplace peer review works. So, it is a process by which employees, co-workers offer their evaluations of the reviewer's performance, skills, competencies, or attitude. So, the exact process can vary, but in most organizations, employees only review coworkers with whom they regularly interact. So sa hospital, common man gyud na ang mga unit managers or the head nurses kay mo meeting gyud sa staff then mohatag og peer review each. So the benefits of peer review. So number one, give them a better picture of an employee's true strengths and weaknesses. So this, in turn, can help the managers develop a training and development programs that can include the specific skills that each employee needs to improve. Then the second one is help managers discover the hidden talent of the staff. So this is common for the quiet performers who routinely produce exceptional work without recognition. Kaya naman kay uban nga maghilom-hilom ra pero if tagaan nimo siya og kuan marag kanang buhatonon kay maayo ra gid siya. Then, for managers to know how they are doing, the feedback from the reviews can help them grow and where they need to improve. So, next slide, sir. So, best practices for peer reviews in the workplace. So, if handled correctly, peer reviews can provide management with valuable insights into employees' skills, morale, personality, and productivity. These tips can help you manage your peer reviews to achieve the best outcome. So, number one, the reviewer must be guaranteed complete anonymity. So, this can relieve concerns over retaliation for a negative comment and give them the confidence to offer honest appraisals. So, the second one, reviewers should have a working knowledge of the reviewee's job, duties, and skills needed to perform the job. So, for example, it might be difficult for a manager to evaluate an employee about his or her duties and responsibilities who is not under his or her management. And a manager who does not have a background at in all terms for formal evaluation, and it goes the same with co-employee. So it's hard to give reviews if you haven't tried working and knowing with that person. So three, do not generally tie peer reviews to merit increases or other rewards, and make sure that you communicate this to employees. So if employees feel that their raises depend on what their coworkers say about them, so they might spend more time cultivating relationship than handling their duties. Create forms for the reviews that are relevant to the department or position. So make sure that the reviews have connection with the nature of the department, and for some reason, it is good to allow blank spaces on each form for the reviewers to add topics that they feel are relevant but which you have overlooked. Five, communicate your expectations clearly. So communicate um, kailangan jud nato i-communicate atong head nurse or atong staff regarding ani. Then, reviews must be implemented and administered. So, peer reviews can provide you with insights that you might never have otherwise discovered. So, however, you should remember that they are intended as supplementary guidance rather than replacements for existing performance reviews or your own judgment. Next slide, Nata, sir. So, the utilization of results. So why utilization plays a big role in understanding performance. So utilization is one of the most valuable in management system. It gives more deeper insights that will lead to more efficient management and increased output for your organization. So with utilization, it is a venue where we can improve our performance, productivity, and project management delivery. So why is utilization of results important in management system? To be able to effectively manage and achieve maximum performance in terms of idea in planning that takes leaders and manager a better insight into availability and schedule. So with the utilization of results, it will help you to shift tasks around and reduce the risk of burnout, where it is an indicator whether it is time to step up in recruiting efforts and add additional resources to your area. So it can help you to be better prepared for the next project and identify strengths and areas for improvement. Slide 4 na to, sir. So how can I optimize this result to manage resources or resource management? So first, create a collective resource pool. So create a collective effective inventory for all resources currently available. So this will give you a bird's eye view of what you have to work with the projects currently on your plate. So as well as additional resources you may need for future projects in a pipeline. Second, coordinate resources. Informing and scheduling resources may be applied. So, but larger organizations that execute complex projects with multiple resources need a better solution. Third, utilize resource management software with the use of the importance of information communication technologies. So, you'll be able to assess the resources at your disposal from a global perspective and coordinate them across all the projects in your team. So makes work easier since it includes all the tools you need to visualize and balance team workloads, reprioritize the projects, and redistribute hours in real time. So for the quality management, let's start to quality circle. So what is quality circle? So conceptually, quality circles can be described as a small group of employees of the same work area doing similar work that meets voluntarily and regularly to identify, analyze, and resolve work-related problems. So all the planned and systematic activities implemented within the quality system can be demonstrated to provide confidence that a product or service will fulfill requirements for the quality. So there are characteristics of effective quality circles. So first, everyone should participate. So you need to take time to identify your goals. Next, the objective should be clear to themselves. Third, the members should be listened to each other. Fourth, the group should be feel comfortable even when they are disagreements. Then when an action is required to be taken, clear assignment should be made and accepted by all the members. So the leader should not dominate the group. The main idea should not be as to who controls, but to get the job done. Then until a final solution is found and result are attained, so feedback is necessary. So mao ni siya ang circle, plan, do, check, and act. So kita gid all the staff or the team kay magkasinabot gid dapat wala gid siya ingon nga kanang siya magbuot so sabutan gid siya per me. Next slide, sir. So, what is quality assurance? So, it is a systematic process of determining whether a product or service meets a specified requirement. So, there are components of quality assurance process. So, first is quality control planning identification of goals. So, quality control planning is you need to take the time to identify your goals and what you want your baseline to be. So you should determine first what your quality standards are and the requirements necessary to meet these standards and what procedures will be used to check that these criteria are being met. Then the second one is quality control process. So once you have a plan in place, quality control comes into play. So this is the process of physically inspecting and testing what you laid out in the planning stage to make sure it is obtainable. So you need to confirm that all the standards you have put into place are met and you need to identify any mishaps or errors that need to be corrected. So the sooner you can catch these errors, the better. The third one is the review. So reviewing the delivery Sir, sakto pa, kana pa. So reviewing the delivery process of services or the quality management manufacturing of goods. So the fourth one is evaluation and re-evaluation. So finally, after completing the quality control process, you need to thoroughly review your findings and come up with a way to improve your methods going forward. So quality control management is fruitless if you're are not willing to make changes when they are necessary. So the desire for continual improvement is the goal for a very successful management and quality assurance. So quality assurance, delineation of scope of care. So describe as something that has been clearly portrayed or accurately present in management of care. So like a diagram or map that was literally drawn clearly. More often, you will hear the word in relation to something less tangible. So, in role delineation, it is a description of the responsibilities and function of a healthcare worker in a specific role. So, including the current activities common in this role. So, if we're talking about delineation to scope of care, to role delineation, these are healthcare professionals who has completed an accredited program, graduate program. So, as a nurse, it can be clinical specialist, practitioner, or in the field of management. So, if mahuman ta ani nga na siya. Next, sir. Slide 8 na daw, sir. So, delineation of scope of care to scope of practice. So, this includes assessment, formulation of a treatment plan, implementation of the treatment plan, follow-up, and practice management. So, means that the scope of care to practice has the obligation to support and conform to professional responsibilities that promote and assure that the overall welfare of the patient and integrity of the profession. So, example flow of delineation of the scope of care. So, number one, assessment of patient needs. So, it must include and not limited to the evaluation of the following: the physical assessment, care requirements. The second one, formulation of a treatment plan based on assessment. So it is where it helps alleviate limitation and enhance function that includes verification and documentation. So it needs for assessment base of healthcare provider input, consultations, and referrals. The third one is implementation of a treatment plan. It includes acquisition of assessment data, resources, and material selection, patient education, and instruction. So the fourth one is utilization of a follow-up treatment plan. It is to ensure the success of the outcomes to health and the quality of life. Here we document the changes of the condition, modification to ensure success outcomes and confirmation of patient education and instruction. So the fifth one is compliance with practice management. It plans to develop and document policies and procedures to ensure the well-being, especially in following care guidelines and procedures and safe environment. The sixth is promotion of competency and enhancement. So through continuing education, promotion in the scope of care. So for the identification of important aspects of care, a handful of analytic frameworks for quality assessment have guided measure development that initiates both public and private. So there are six important aspects of care. So the aspects of care help to grasp the meaning care as the relevance of quality assurance measure. So it provides a framework for understanding quality and explanation to safe and effective and patient-centered care. So the first one is safe. So avoiding harm to patients from the care that is intended to help them. So as a nurse, mo, man natong responsibility to help the patient. Then effective, providing services based on scientific knowledge to all who could benefit and refraining from providing services to those not likely to benefit. So I avoiding underuse and misuse respectively. The third one is patient centered. So providing care that is respectful of the responsive to individual patient preferences, needs and values and ensuring that the patient values guide all clinical decisions. For timely, it reducing waits and sometimes harmful delays for both those who receive and those who give care. Efficient, avoiding waste, including waste of equipment, supplies, ideas, and energy. Equitable, providing care that does not vary in quality because of personal characteristics such as gender, ethnicity, relation, and socioeconomic status. So, bisan unsa pa na sila, dapat i-care dyan na to sila. Then slide 10. So identification of indicators related to aspect of care. So quality of care can be defined as the degree to which health services for individuals and populations increase the likelihood of desired health outcomes and consistent with current professional knowledge. So the use of the indicators enables professional and organizations to monitor and evaluate what happens to patients as a consequence of how well professionals and organizational system function to provide for the needs of the patient. So the indicators are however not a direct measure of the quality because quality is multidimensional. So understanding quality requires many different measures. So indicator in the aspect of care. So number one, measures that assess a particular healthcare process or outcome. The second one is used to monitor and evaluate quality of management and as a measure tool used as guide to improve the quality of care. So next, sir. So common quality assurance indicator. So efficiency indicator or the productivity is the first one. So responsible for for measuring how many resources are needed to carry out the production. So here it is possible to identify ways that should be avoided and allow greater productivity. Second one is impact indicator. So client satisfaction and fidelity. To know if the clients are satisfied with your care, if they would recommend your service. So kanang sa hospital man good sa district kay bisag unsa mi ka busy naagid mi siya kanang mo interview sa patient kay para if kuan ba sila kana unsay nga na if happy ba sila sa among service para dili mo kanang namo kay uban nga i-post dayon sa social media. Then, if atubang namo is okay ra kaayo then after ana ka i-post na dayon so need na namin karon gihatag na feedback form every discharge. Next is effectiveness indicator or value will help you understand the influence and relevance that what you offer has in the life of clients. So here will you know if your care or service given actually works. Next slide, sir. So the fourth one is client service indicator. So client complaints. So clients and patients are the business thermometer. So if they are complaining a lot, it's a sign that things are not going well at all. So here you need to take control of the organization internally as this is reflected externally. So safety indicator, quality. This indicator is as essential as it regards the effect your company has on the health or physical integrity of the clients and patients. So services must meet all the safety measures in national and international standards. So diri ra mo end akong report, sir. So any questions?
Right? You may want to throw questions to them as an interactive discussion since you still have more time. What particular questions that you would like to share to the group for them to discuss? We can also utilize the reports of Rodora so that it can be interactive as much as possible. So any any one of you can somehow ask questions to the group for discussion. Let's start from you, Rod. You do have your question here in the chat box, which I believe it
Yes,
was
the
answered no by your classmates. So can you reiterate your question and ask randomly whoever can share their experience as a nursing leader in their own field?
okay. So, in your own opinion, what is the best leadership style? The servant leader, the transformational leader, the democratic leader, the authoritarian, or the laissez-faire leader? Please explain. I think si Ma'am Giselle, since she's a supervisor. So, which do you think is the best leadership style? In your own opinion, lab.
Hi,
So,
good
everything is
afternoon.
correct.
Um, ako dyan. By my own experience, I think uh, for me, the most effective nga akong na-apply is the democratic, but sometimes it's sometimes a mix. Napoy transformational. Um, Sometimes when good your staff have these different sila of personalities. So I tend to adjust and see if unsa effective. Depende sa group that I handle. So siguro sa kung sa office lang the rest of the head nurses kay lahi-lahi pod but for my own dialysis unit na mga staff, being democratic is effective, is still effective, and you tend to have their cooperation lang dun if of, of any uh, things that you want to implement in the unit. That's it.
I actually agree with that, Ma'am Giselle. You mentioned transformational leadership and democratic leaders, di ba? Kasi actually both the democratic and the transformational leadership styles, they actually engage workers, and they, allow participation. So you also support new ideas, you know, the flexibility. So that's why mix, yeah. Others, how about Ma'am Imjumilu? Kay naaman siya sa kuan. Dili man siya sa healthcare, naaman siya sa clinical instructor man siya. So in your own opinion.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everyone. No, actually, the best type of leadership, I guess, leadership parang way. No, I guess it's depende siya sa imuha staff. Depende po siya sa unsay situation na naakakaroon. Say, for example, if you are in an ER, everything is an emergency, everything is in a rush. I think the best leadership for that is an autocratic. You need to have a defined actions to do. You don't need to ask for opinions of the other. Dapat na action for that. But if you are in a like what I have, no, the environment that I have, I'm with the students. With that type of leadership na pwede na akong gamiton, it's autocratic also because if I ask them about their opinion, well, of course, somehow naman, no, there's a democratic way in teaching. Pero at the end of the day, you need to be an autocratic leader because you provide them instructions, no, and it's need to be kind of strict ka in terms of providing instructions to them for them to follow you. Because if you're not strict, somehow no, they will treat you na dili ka seryoso, they won't respect you. So I guess in my field, I need to be an autocratic leader. But if yeah, like what said ni Ma'am Giselle, if siguro nasa office ka and then your staff is well knowledgeable, they're skillful, they're competent, democratic is a good way and also laissez-faire is a good for that. No, that's why I said na importante po na you know the competency of your staff. Nato ka mo depend kung unsa na leadership ang imuha gamiton.
Yeah, I agree, Ma'am Ems. It's actually true. You can also, because if your staffs are, competent, and somehow kan bitaw sila, you will know it man eh, if you are the leader and you can observe. So laissez-faire is also good because you will be like, you don't micromanage them, you let them do the decision. Murag kung ikaw murag kag mo tan-aw on what they do, maybe you will give inputs if you see something nga kanang that needs to be done, then yeah, pwede ka mo kuan. Pero it's good also to, you have to let them make their own decisions. Let them set their own, deadlines with regards to, for example, dili lagi siya nga nag-urgent. And they have a lot of things to do, especially in the clinical setting sa hospitals and nurses. And also, yeah, democratic leaders, especially if ang imong mga kanang subordinates or your people are kuan kanang maayo ba, competent and efficient. So it's good to solicit opinions and ideas from them. Anybody? Sir Chato or Sir John?
Good morning, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. With the question, which type of leadership is the best? I believe there's no one best type of leadership. It's a combination of those many types of leadership, ma'am. I agree with Ma'am M. Jamilu that it would depend on the organizational structure where you are working and the type of staff that you have. As long as you are able to inspire and motivate your subordinates to achieving the common goal or the mission or vision of the organization. Thank you.
Very well said, Sir John. Thank you. How about you, Sir Chato?
For me, wala jud siya like kamis like from Ma'am MLU and Sir Jad. For me, ha, it depends on the situation. Kay naman tayo laylahin jud usaon siya pag-handle sa situation kay naamang good tayo mga situation na dili ang democratic, dili ang autocratic. So it depends on the situation for me as a leader. Hello?
Yes, sir. So, we agreed on kuan yun. Yes, sakto combination siya. How about si Ma'am Kim? Since lahi man ang iyang setting, I mean, not, wa man siya here sa Philippines. Ma'am Kim, are you
Yes,
here?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here,
Mhm.
Miss Rodora. Same ra gyapon og unsa ni? Same ra gyapon siya og way cause more gyapon nursing setting ra gyapon. Pero I believe na more on transformational and democratic is the best leadership style because transformational you will trust the your members that your the you have entrusted them to do their job, then you also transform them to become the next leader. So it will not stop. It will it will not only you who will lead them, but also them. You will encourage them. Also, you will see their potentials to become great leader as well. And democratic is also best because it's like a transformational, but uh, same as sa democratic, but everybody has to say something so that an organization will work and will succeed. So mao na akong kanang overview sa leadership style, and I'm using that as well here, democratic and transformational, which I already kanang ang ako mga next na mga unsa ni mga members sila na mag leader. So at least murag nakaingon ko nga effective siya as a transformational plus democratic is one of the best na mixed style of leadership. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Kim. So, mag imo silang gi-empower. So,
Yes.
gi-inspire sila to be the next or something like that. How about you, Miss Kabingas? Ang ani ang question. Which among the leadership style nga na try na nimo og implement, and then you think nga best siya on that specific situation?
For me, ma'am, I believe, 'cause I remember nga nag-duty pa ko diha sa Pilipinas kay lahi man gud diri, lahi lahi siya diri. So mag-base na lang ko diha sa kanang Pilipinas. Sa delivery, depende ra gid sa sitwasyon, ma'am, kung asa ka nga area. Kay because, sa delivery room, uh, of course flexible ka, emergency cases autocratic jud ka, ikaw jud ang mo-stand sa mga desisyon nga kinahanglan ani ang imong mga tao kanang dapat mo stand jud ka mo ni buhaton na to ani. Dayon at the same time democratic sad ka, you must hear sad unsa ang mga sides nila, and then uh, mosalig na jud ka sa mga tao sad nimo, and then transformational kana pod siya kanang kuan sad na siya kanang ganahan sad kuan na siya nga kanang leadership. Basta depende ra gid na nga asa ka nga area, ma'am. Siguro kay mo stand out jud ang imong decision making ana kung asa ka. Mao ra sad, ma'am.
Thank you, Ma'am Kabingas.
Yes, ma'am.
How about Ma'am Ligaya? Ma'am Ligaya? I think
Um,
ni-answer ka sa chat box.
Miss Dan says no is having a hard time with her mic. Maybe you can cite her
Okay.
answer in the in-call messages, Rod.
Okay. Niingon si Ma'am Ligaya, I think there is no best leadership style. It always depend on the situation. For example, one can use servant leadership when dealing with novice nurses. True. Transformational leadership to inspire those who are lacking the motivation to work, and democratic when dealing with problems that can affect the general population. authoritarian when dealing with problems that need immediate solutions, and laissez-faire for allowing nurses under you to grow and make decisions for their own. Wow, perfect. Nakompleto ni Ma'am Ligaya. Thank you, Ma'am Ligaya. Any other opinion?
All right. I think
That's
those are very good insights coming from the group.
mm,
No, most of them already shared. And still, we have one more presenter, MJ, who will be having her report from our previous presenters, which partakes into the previous units. No, so thank you, Rod and Frances. I'm still waiting for Frances's reply in terms of her interactive question for the group. I may be the one to facilitate it since she's preparing herself for her duty for PM shift. But anyhow, let's have MJ first for the presentation. Our last presenter, I believe also no Ed is not in our chat box. He's not online and we couldn't reach him. But then again, I will be encouraging him to create a presentation which is recorded so that he will be able to share it in our Google Drive and everyone can see it then, okay, or can watch his recorded video. Okay, MJ, are you ready with your report?
Ready na, Doc.
Sige.
I think ready na sa akong wondering.
All right.
Connection. Good
Sige.
luck to
You
me.
may share now your presentation.
Giselle?
Allow me to share the slides for Ma'am NJ.
Oh, sige, all right. While Giselle is preparing the report, I've already sent you a guide as to how you can make your synthesis report. No, so that is just a guide, guys. Okay, don't get intimidated with the term research or some particular guidelines. No, now you think that you couldn't achieve. That is just a guide for you to at least have an output. Okay, but somehow if you can follow the guidelines that I just attach in our GC, that's much better. No, anyway, I will be reading your individual output and input if everyone submitted already their output in our G drive. And please upload na lang po hinahinay ang inyong mga output so that I may be able to check it no during my free time. Okay? I can see it in my
Can
end
you
now.
see
It's
the slide?
visible. Yes, it's visible on my end. How about you, MJ? Can you see the screen shared?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, sige. Ready when you are.
Okay, Doc. I am Mary Jane Cabingas and I'm here to report about strategies in total quality management. Kanisha is a continuation sa report na TQM na gitakol na nila last meeting. Next slide, ma'am. So quality. So we'll just have to kuan lang go back ng little sa TQM. So what is quality? In the American National Standards Institute and American Society Quality define quality as the totality of features and characteristics of a care of service that bears on its ability to satisfy given needs. According to Crisby, quality is conformance to requirements or specification. Next slide, ma'am. So what is total quality management? Total quality management is a business management approach to continuous improvement, which includes all employees in a company coming from top management to manufacturing line employees. The main objective of the continuous improvement system is to strengthen customers' support and minimizes inefficiencies in organization. A core definition of total quality management describes a management approach to long-term success through customers' satisfaction. Next slide, ma'am. So what is total quality management? TQM can be summarized as a management system for a customer-focused organization that involves all employees in continual improvement, and it uses strategy, data, and effective communication to integrate the quality discipline into the culture and activities of the organization. So TQM describe a management approach to long-term success through customer satisfaction. Next slide, ma'am, sa the importance of total quality. So, total quality of performance that is directly related to healthcare safety, security, attitude staff, role of doctors in terms of time includes appointment, delay time, service time, timing with regards to medical treatment and surgery. So quality of administration and management, quality of doctors and supporting staff, and quality of hospital care. Next slide, ma'am. So, so TQM movement in healthcare. So in hospitals and other healthcare organizations across the globe have been progressively implementing TQM to reduce costs, improving efficiency, and provide high quality patient care, and which places on improved customer satisfaction offers the prospect of great market share and profitability, and can be important part of hospital competitive strategy in quality of healthcare system. Slide mo. And then healthcare systems are of fundamental interest to all level of hospitals in our societies. Eventually, increasing importance and reliance are placed on total quality management in healthcare system. Due to this rising importance, that is also reflected in increasing percentage of national and international resources for both private and public sector to allocate in hospital management system. So hospitals, next slide mo. Hospitals and other healthcare organizations across the globe have been progressively implementing TQM to reduce costs, improving efficiency, and provide high quality patient care. Next slide mo. So, muna niya akong report, strategy in total quality management. Internal process, cost reduction, environmental effects, and regulatory compliance. So what is internal process? An internal process is a series of steps or actions that team members must perform in the daily execution of their duties within an organization. So this can range from simple ones such as managing a purchase order to more complex ones like following federal insurance regulations. Whether complete, complex, or simple, making improvements in the internal process of a company is essential. An organization has to invest in strategies that make processes faster, cheaper, and more effective in order to improve performance and satisfy the needs of customers. Next slide, ma'am. So examples of internal processes, operational management processes, customer management processes, innovation processes, regulatory processes. So sa operation management processes, these are the daily steps or actions that an organization needs to take to create its product or deliver its service to customer. So for instance, if you run a medical facility, operation management processes are those processes that involve receiving the patients upon admission, facilitating holistic medical care and treatment, while within the hospital premises, and making sure that a safety environment has been given until the patient is discharged and receiving and fulfilling customers' orders. So kani siya, sa hospital settings, di ba, pag admission pa lang, kanang sa kuan kay tana kanang dapat ang mga staff as in ila jud asikasuhon ng mga pasyente dayon prompt ang ato ang services o depende sa situation pero kung admission jud kinahanglan prompt jud ta kung sa ilahang kung sa for example sa ER kinahanglan prompt ang atong services ana dayon um, external like ang atong beds kinahanglan limpyo dayon hantod sa ma-admit sila sa hospital dapat ang atong services jud is very good jud kaayo in terms sa atong services tanan na services like sa atong treatment sa ilaha and sa atong rooms as a whole na siya for satisfaction sa ato ang kanang mga pasyente para kuan ang ngayon ang atong feedback sa ilaha sa ato adi ay. And then number 2, customer management processes. Customer management processes are a series of actions aimed at developing relationship with the customer. For example of processes that fall into this category include customer acquisition, collecting and managing customer feedback, customer retention, and customer communication to name only a few. So kanisha, I believe sa hospital, developing relationship is ang staff mismo nga naa dito treatment sa ilaha. So number 3 is the innovation processes. These are processes aimed at helping an organization reach new markets. This can be done by creating alternative products or introducing a new line of services. Ang akong nakita ani nga example is sa among hospital katong sa COVID gani nga nag-open sila og kanang drive-thru nga kanang unsa ni RT-PCR ana easy nga mga services nga ma-access sa kanang tawo. Number 4, regulatory processes. These are processes that are vital to an organization compliance with regulatory standards needed to retain their license to operate. So examples maybe include processes to maintain environmental compliance, health and safety regulations, social responsibility, and among others. So kani siya, itako lang nato sila unya, kani compliance. But very important jud kayo ni kung sa hospital or bisan asa siguro kaning environmental compliance, health and safety regulations. So how to improve internal process, free up mission critical information, improve employee training, improve employee visibility, automate processes, and put yourself in customer shoes. So I have here diagrams sa ang kanay sunod reduction of cost na. So I have here diagram na quality and cost. So cost of quality. As defined by Philip B. Crosby in his book Quality is Free, the cost of quality has two main components. The cost of good quality or the cost of conformance and the cost of poor quality or the cost of non-conformance. So the cost of poor quality affects the internal and internal costs resulting from failing to meet requirements. And then, ang sa cost of good quality affects on cost for investing in the prevention of non-conformance to requirements and cost for appraising a product or service for conformance to requirement. So, nara siya ang diagram. Dayon, cost of poor quality, internal failure cost. So, internal failure costs are costs that are caused by products or services not conforming to requirements or customers' user needs and are found before delivery of products and services to external customers. So they would have otherwise led to the customer not being satisfied. Deficiencies are caused both by errors in products and efficiency in processes. So, kani siya, ang mga example ani kay Moni ka ng mga delays, kanang downgrading. So, I have your example na kanina siya. And then, cost of poor quality external failure cost. So, external failure costs are costs that are caused by deficiencies found after delivery of products and services to external customers, which lead to customer dissatisfaction. So, so kani siya after na ni ang katong isa before. So, ang example ani kay kuan quality planning ay asa na hindi mo. Ang example ani kay na complaints kanang repairing goods and redoing services, ang warranties, nya customers' badwill, losses due to sales reductions, and environmental costs. Sa- Dayon, cost of good quality. Ay, hindi. Cost of good quality is the prevention cost. So the prevention costs are costs of all activities that are designed to prevent poor quality from arising in products or services. So, ang examples ani kay ang katong quality planning, of course supplier evaluation, new product review, um, quality improvement meetings, quality improvement projects, quality education, and training. And then, cost of good quality appraisal costs is cost that occur because of the need to control products and services to ensure a high quality level in all stages, conformance to quality standards, and performance. So, ang example ani kay checking and testing purchase goods and services, and then in process and final inspection tests, and then field testing, product process of service audits, and calibration of measuring and test equipment. So, na ako'y diagram diri na many of the costs of quality are hidden and developed to identify by formal measurement requirements. So, kani siya, example ani kay the iceberg model. So, the iceberg model is very often used to illustrate this matter. Only a minority of the cost of poor and good qualities are obvious kanang nasa igbaw. And then, appear above the surface of the water, but there is a huge potential for reducing costs under the water. So identify and improving these costs will significantly reduce the cost of doing business. So mo na siya. So I have here ang next kay environmental management, environmental effects. So environmental management system na ko'y diagram diha na environmental policy. So ang sunod ana kay planning, dayon implementing, dayon checking and corrective actions, and then management review. So mo na siya ang kuan sa environmental management system. So environment is defined as the global surroundings in which an organization operates and includes air, water, land, natural resources, humans, and their interactions. And then environmental aspect is defined as an element of an organization's activities, products, or services that can interact with the environment. So examples are waste, water discharge, and air emissions. So an environmental management system is a system and database which integrates procedures and processes for training of personnel, monitoring, summarizing, and reporting of specialized environmental performance information to internal and external stakeholders of a firm. So the most widely used standards in which on which an EMS is based in International Organization for Standardization or ISO 14001. So, ang goals ani kay the goals of EMS are to increase the compliance and reduce waste. So, compliance is the act of reaching and maintaining minimal legal standards. By not being compliant, companies may face fines, government intervention, or may not be able to operate. So, kuan gini kain siya, dapat mo comply yun ang kuan any establishment yun ani. And then waste reduction is goes beyond compliance to reduce environmental impact. So the EMS helps to develop, implement, manage, coordinate, and monitor environmental policies. And then waste reduction begins at the design phase through pollution prevention and minimization. At the end of the end cycle, waste is reduced by recycling. So features. The features of EMS serves as a tool or process to improve environmental performance and information, mainly design pollution control and waste minimization, training, reporting to top management, and setting goals. And then provides a systematic way of managing and on environmental affairs. And it gives order and consistency for organization to address environmental concerns through the allocation of resources, assignment of responsibility, and ongoing evaluation of practices, procedures, and processes. So, what are the benefits of AMS? It helps maintain compliance, and then it reduces operating costs, integrating environmental programs into mission, increase employee involvement, and reduce environmental impacts of organization. So the next one is the regulatory compliance. So what is compliance in TQM? So compliance is a process by which companies adhere to regulations and prove they are doing so to the relevant inspecting and regulating bodies. So here, regulatory compliance and quality management in healthcare. So in compliance, it abides, of course, uh,
in hospital policy, their law, regulations, and of course, ang standards na to. So what regulate healthcare facilities and service providers? So number one, ensure safety of all citizens. Of course, um, ato dyan i-assure ang safety sa mga senior citizens, especially senior citizens, um, mga bata, and especially sa hospital sa NICU, PEDIA, muna silang vulnerable citizens. And then ensure safety of the general public. Of course, ato dyan muna naon ang not only inside the hospital, but of course, community on sound safety. And then, of course, money. Ensure we are getting the service for which we pay and ensure we are getting reasonable quality of service for which we paid. So, kani siya, of course, kanang nabitay, kanang, kuan, makasugat si tao kanang mga pasyente na ingon nga, magbayad ko ani, ngano ingonan ni nga service ninyo, nga mahal kayo diri, ana. So, nagiingon ana ang mga pasyente jud nga mo demand sila based sa kanang ilang gibayad which is kanang dili bitaw oh for me murag na sila right po bitaw mag-ingon ana but it's too much man sad because I experience gingnan ni na gibaydan ta mo diri so kinanglan ang services ninyo is dapat high sad which is kanang too much jud kayo manulti bitaw. So, who monitors health facilities in the Philippines? So, the DNR and DOH. So, are the responsible agencies in monitoring compliance of healthcare facilities to the mandate policies in healthcare waste management. So, kani siya, DOH, muna sila ang mo-inspect jud sa hospital. And so, ang kuha nila ni, ang ilang pangiton kay ang licensure, minimum requirements to do business. It's not only the hospital na, but kanang, I think, mga establishment, for example, mga restaurants, mga mall, yani. So, licensure minimum requirements to do business. So, to perform a service such as professional license. So, in us, sa hospital, mangita yun ng lisensya sila good mga lisensyado ba ang mga kuan, mga mga empleyado. And then ang diri ang natabo diri sa KSA sa akong gitrabahoan is lahi sad siya. Ang MOH mag-inspect nga daghan kayong diri way lisensya. So ang katong may mga lisensya mo'y patubangon sa MOH. So magtanga kuan jud. For example, dili nila area maglisod jud og tubag kay wa man sa kabalo sa kana nga area dayon to provide the service function such as operate a residential facility and then certification requirements to participate in a particular service or program so usually required for reimbursement can reflect a special designation or achievement and can give you deemed status for some licenses. So, mangita sa din sila og mga certificate ninyo ang sa establishment. So, accreditation, so most often voluntary with rare exception. So, good quality, good housekeeping seal, and then can give you the deemed status for some license or certification. So, mangita sa din sila og kanang mga ingunaning mga documents. So benchmarking is the process of measuring your current products.
Connection check. MJ, are you still around? Guys, can you hear her?
No, sir.
Nawala siya,
Another.
no? Okay. I will just wait for her to maybe she's trying to check her controls as well. By the way, Giselle, how many slides does she have now? Nawala pa niya na human.
Uh, for 41 out of 47, Doc. So she has, I think, six to seven slides.
Okay. Six more, no? Okay. Sige. Yes, Ligaya.
Doc, dungo ka, Doc.
I'm sorry, what was it again, Dai?
Kanang, Doc. About
Uh,
ba itong imong gisan gani nga synthesis paper, pwede
yes.
mo ask about to if ingato ba na mo kuan iba bagay itong dapat ang mga synthesis outputs.
Yes. The format for the guide that I sent in our GC could be the same format as your output, no? However, if you've already made some synthesis report, you may enhance based on the criterion that I was able to send, no, since it was already late that I formulated that. Because some of my the other group that I have na mga students was asking for a criterion in terms of making synthesis papers. So I was just trying to create a type of guide for students to come up with it. No? Why do you have problems in that you've encountered based on what you've made already and in comparison with my koan guidelines?
Kuan ra, Doc, if amo pa bang i-revise tong among himo ba, Doc? Nag-wonder ako, Doc, kung
Sige,
i-revise pa ba or dili na. Ang
I'll just
na-submit.
give you the I'll give you the prerogative of doing so. You may revise or maybe enhance, or you can stick with your output if there are consideration of time constraints, perhaps, no? Pwede ra po.
Okay, Doc, thank you.
Sige, all right. So, guys, no, I think MJ is not responding in our GC, and it seems like is she still around? Napa ba si MJ? Murag nawa po siya, no? But anyway, guys, let me
I
just go
just
ahead.
read my message, Doc, sa
Mhm.
Messenger.
May message siya? Wala, no?
Ni-view siya sa akong message sa Messenger. And online ang nakabutang sa iyang Messenger.
Okay. Sige. We'll just wait for her. Probably, ano na siya. MJ, are you around? Can you hear
Ah,
us?
sorry kayo, Doc.
Okay.
Struggle
Wala
is
po
real.
tayo. MJ, you may want to wrap up your report for about 10 minutes because you almost have 6 more slides to be discussed.
Yes, Doc.
Okay, sige.
Padali na lang ni.
Sige. All right.
Sige.
You may continue now.
Okay. Ma'am Giselle, diretso na lang to sa katong International Organization for Standardization, ISO. Ang next ano. So katong ISO, na-mention na nako na siya earlier, when an organization quality system has been assessed against ISO standards by an accredited independent certification body, then the quality system is registered and can be used as evidence of quality assurance in tendering for contracts. So quality system produced in accordance with this quality system requirements are subject to regular third-party assessment based on documented objective evidence and compliance. So dili na lang ako ikuan kanang ang sa ISO. Nara may link, so kindly check na lang malihog. And then the next is ang Lean Six Sigma is built on this knowledge, methods and tools derived from decades of operational improvement, research and implementation. So lean approaches focus on reducing costs through process optimization. And then Six Sigma is about meeting customer requirements and stakeholder expectations and improving quality by measuring and eliminating defects. So narasad ka ng link sad, kindly check na lang sad palihog sa kana siya nga Lean Sigma. Uh, and then ang last kay ang quality improvement, which is murag na discuss ni sa nila Ma'am Kuan, Ma'am Giselle. So quality improvement in healthcare is as important now as it has ever been. And how to drive quality improvement in the healthcare sector, engage frontline staff in both issue diagnosis, identifying possible solutions, and reimagine the role of quality teams within hospital. And then stop thinking about quality improvement as a remedial activity for problems that have already happened. And then schedule time for QI related activities into every staff member's weekly work plan and focus a bit less on compliance and a bit more on improvement. So, mo na to siya, sir. Amo na to siya, Doc. Done na ko.
All right. Thank you for that. No. Somehow most of the topics were already been discussed with the previous reporters. But anyhow, do you have a question for the group to be discussed, MJ?
I think, Doc, I just want to ask if kanang unsay ilahang na-encounter na mga kanang compliance bitaw sa hospital.
Okay, sige. The question here, may I paraphrase your question? MJ would like to know as to what were your encounters in terms of quality improvement, MJ. Is that correct? In your hospital?
Yes, Doc.
Sige. Let's try to have that question again. What are your encounters or what did you encounter, no? In terms of quality improvement, may it be in the hospital, may it be in the academe, or maybe in a different field of nursing? Let's start with K. K, are you around? K, Miss Villano. Okay, we'll just get back to you, Kay. How about your observation, Lynette? Lynette?
Yes, Doc. Good
Yes.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Any observation in terms of quality improvement? May it be in the different fields of nursing?
Actually, I don't have experience in the field of nursing, so but I have experience in the field of engineering because I was also staff in CSI, Concrete Solutions Incorporated, and we are also under the ISO, and our company is also an ISO certified. So based on the experiences I had, we have to follow the standard, I think, the standard rules in ISO, because every year we have the evaluation. If we come up with the standard, example in quality in concreting that we deliver in our customers, because every customers that we had, we have to ask them a questions through paper, and then they have to check it if our quality is improving, and also within the set of standards. That's based on my experience, sir. I'm in the.
Yes, no, actually, in whatever field, probably in healthcare or maybe in business and even engineering, have the same process, no? But the bottom line of having your quality improvement is to make sure that everything is overlooked, everything is being checked and organized, no? And that means to say that if that is the case, we have to follow certain processes and procedure. And by doing that, whatever are written documents in your respective institution or field should be implemented and should be cascaded properly. You know? So if there are anything to be enhanced or anything that you have to revise, then it should be paper based, no? Or you have to do it through written in a written way, so that in through implementation, whatever is written should be well implemented. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Lynette. No.
Thank you,
How
Dad.
about let's have two more, no? Two more. Let's have Kimberly. After Kimberly, Herzal. Okay. Sige.
Hi, sir. Hi, Doc. With regards to quality improvement here in my institution, each department has what's this, standards of care, and then we need to follow that one as per our unit. Then after that one, parehara gapon sa katong sa kuan ni Ma'am Lynette sa ilahang sa field of engineering nila nga every year we have a annual, what's this one, annual nga evaluation sa staff if they met the standards of care and if naabay room for improvement. And that annual also na unsa ni annual na evaluation will will uh will evaluate mura siya kuan siya unsa ni mura siya ang among i-base kung kinahanglan ba mig improvement sa amuhang sa unit, or unsa ang kinahanglan namo nga mga i-improve like sa education, sa infection control, or sa unsa. So usually annual and biannual amo ang style to check if na ay mga need for improvement and for like mga incident reports and all. So sa amo 50% written and 50% na adjud sa kuan siya analytics, kay we are basing our improvement through KPIs man. So mao na siya ang style diri sa ako institution. Thank you.
Okay. No. So at least no, it's driven by KPI, your key performance indicator. It's very important pod na we also need to know our individual KPI as staff nurses or even supervisors, manager, and being the chief operating officer in our institution. No, let's all be guided with a KPI because this is one way for us to be evaluated. Most of the evaluative programs that is being done biannually or annually is being should target the goals and objectives of the KPI. You know, so it's also an indicator for you to pass the performance evaluation or you may undergo with certain performance improvement plan if ever that is the case, if you won't be able to um, pass or surpass, no? Okay, thank you, Kim. Now, can you have in the national or local setting, because that one is in the international context. How about Herzal? How does QI being implemented in your field?
Uh, since sir, I'm in a community setup, I can relate to that, sir, on our um from we are hired from DOH, sir, actually, and yearly, annually, we have these performance implementation review. This ang nahitabuan ni sir is kanang tanan mga health indicators, like daghan man gid kay program sa DOH if na met ba. So this time mahibawan na mo if kanang um for example this year amo i-compare ang kanang amo i-compare ang accomplishment from the previous year up to now, if there is an improvement or do na by decrease. Kay usually magud sir kay more on reports man good. For example, mag-cite lang ko example daghan mo kay health programs yan DOH, like for example kaning sa TB doc. So ang aim gid sa DOH is kanang daghan gid ang ma-detect nga TB case rates para mas makuan lang to ang, I mean, ma-address lang na ang ilahang problem ba. So from that, if kung naay ka ng, I mean, kung naay increase, kung i-compare from the last year of karon, kung doon na increase, so pasabot ana there is somewhat naay ka ng improvement. And if decrease siya, so something to work on. So murag mao na ako ang I mean ma-connect sa improvement, sir, kay at that time diha man nga higay is ka na makahibaw mi unsa makay maayo nga buhaton, I mean ipadayon bagyapon ang kanang naandan nga practices or i-enhance pa ba. So that's all, sir, mo na ako ang ma-relate in terms of the total quality improvement. Mo na ako ang ma-answer.
All right, thank you.
Mm,
That's in the perspective of community, no? So they
mm,
also have a different way of doing it. However,
mm,
we have to consider pod na it's part of the improvement, no? It's
mm,
continuous, meaning to say, that's how they run it and that's how they meet their objectives and goal at the end of the year, no? But anyhow, it's just actually the same, guys, okay? In other fields, it's just the same with nursing, and it's also the same with healthcare industry, no? Now, the thing here is at the end, we will be able to achieve our objectives and goals, and part of which is being anchored with the vision and mission of of the institution. But there are times put by no na during the quality improvement evaluation, they have this checklist, no. So in our end, since all of the hospitals are under DOH, checklists are available in the DOH website, no, you can download that. So say for example, you the institution would somehow hear, an idea in which DOH will be checking the hospital or will be visiting or do audit, no, you can somehow anticipate by downloading the checklist for you to identify as to what particular areas needs to be improved, no. And if we are talking into the academe, checklist can be found in the website of SHED. If it's a higher education, no, in nursing, the checklist is there, no, the compliant checklist is there. And it's very important po di ay na we have to consider po that not all of the things found in the checklist are being met during the audit. After the audit, there would be a one, usually they give 1 to 2 months, no? However, sometimes DOH would extend it for 3 months to comply. Those that are part of the not met, no, categories in the checklist, no. It doesn't mean to say that your institution will be closed if it's not compliant, but still giving you a chance to comply it within 3 month period maximum, no. So if the institution is not compliant based on the evaluation, for example in quality improvement or even ISO and JCI institutions, tendency is they will be giving warning for you to explain it in writing, no, as to when would be the best time for you to comply it. However, if they are too strict, say for example ISO and JCI, then there would be a mandate of closure or ending certain programs that can be implemented in your institution, particularly with quality improvement. No, so if you couldn't pass based on the guidelines and checklists, then tendency is your hospital can still operate, but unfortunately, it is not anymore an ISO certified or a JCI certified institution. However, DOH can still monitor the hospital in terms of compliance then, no? So it depends on the hospital if they really wanted to apply or reapply again to ISO or JCI.